Hey everybody, thanks for dropping in. Before we get started with the head-to-head competition, I just wanted to thank all of y'all because I finally broke 500 subscribers and I'm really happy about it. Alrighty, let's get into this. Let's go! Okay, here you have your head-to-head numbers. Both games released about the same time. Both of them have 4 kilobytes of ROM. Now, Mr. Harvey of Solar-Storm, I could not find much about him. If any of y'all know anything, let me know, because there really wasn't much online that I could find after doing some looking around. Now, Mr. Finney, on the other hand, this fellow was busy. I talked about him in one of my other videos I did, because he did several other M-Network games, and here's a list of them right here over on Atari Age. So Mr. Finney probably didn't get much sleep in the early 80s, between 1982 and 1983. And if you're new to the retro gaming scene, you really should check out AtariAge.com. Great resource to use. Let's move on. It's worth mentioning that all these M-Network games actually were in television games first. In this case, it was Astro Smash, became Astro Blast for the Atari. I don't believe there's that much of a difference in the games, and I know I've heard more than once that most people like the Atari version better. I'm guessing it may be because of the controls with the paddles, which are probably more precise than those television controllers. Any of y'all who've played the television version, let me know that. Now you start the game with 10 lives. They're actually called bases in Astro Blast, and you can use the joystick or the paddle. I didn't try the joystick. I would imagine the paddle's better. Even using the emulator here, the control seems very precise. It works very well. You get a free base every 1,000 points, and if you get to where you're really good at the game and you think you're a badass, unfortunately there are no variations, which sucks, but you can set the difficulty switch to A. That will be the equivalent of starting the game at 50,000 points. So if you think you're bad to the bone, do that and it'll be a lot harder. It's a good thing they give you lots of extra ships because you do die a lot. Now, one of the things that makes Astro Blast different than any number of other shooters for the 2600 or any other system for back in this era is the scoring system. Now, if the asteroids or rocks, whatever you want to call them, if they reach the surface of the planet, you're actually docked some of your points. So the plus and minus scoring system definitely adds a level of strategy to the game. In fact, let's look at the scoring system. I did a cutout I'll put up on the screen so we can take a look at it. This is kind of fuzzy. I hope y'all can see it. You see on the top card the big rock, small rock score. Now the more points you have, you can see how it breaks down. The more points you get whenever you destroy items that are flying down at you. The spinners come down, they make that siren sound. You have to destroy those. If they hit the planet's surface, your base is destroyed. So you can't let those fall, you have to shoot them. The pulsars are like heat-guided missile type things that they try to hit you. They'll shoot right at you, so you have to dodge them. And if you get on up there and get over 20,000 points, the UFOs start showing up. Now on the bottom one, you can see, basically it's half the points deducted if you let a rock, hit the planet's surface. You can see everything's laid out right there, but it is kind of cool. Now I know what some of you are thinking on the bonus man. No, you can't get a free man, then let some rocks hit the planet and drop it back down below the 1,000 points, and then go back up and get another free man. You can't cheat it like that. I was wondering that too, but no, you can't do that. Now, since Mattel made these games for the 2600 and they also made the Intellivision, the cartridges had a similar look to them. You can see the Atari one on the left has the bigger end, so it fit into the 2600, and that was cool and all. But one thing that is most people, and I agree with them, complain about is that the games are hard to stack because of the way they're shaped. They don't really stack well, so if you're collecting them, it's harder to stack them on a shelf compared to just about every other kind of cartridge that goes into the 2600. I skipped ahead a little bit in the video footage. Once you get up over 10,000, things get pretty hectic, and I don't really last long. I think around 20,000 points is about the best I've done so far. Another thing worth mentioning is that the game will give you your peak score when you lose your last base and the game is over. So if you had a score of say 20,000 points and a few rocks hit the surface and it docks your score a little bit, and then you die, you lose your last man, then it gives you your final score. It adjusted at the end of the game. Cool game though. Cool game. That's it, game over. Let's get on and check out Solar Storm. Hey everybody, glad you're still here. If you like the content, do me a quick favor and please hit that like button down there. It doesn't cost you a cent, it only takes a second. And if you're enjoying my videos, I'd be grateful if you think about subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much. Always got to give a quick shout out to Magic's design on their boxes and their cartridges, the shape, the colors, everything. It's one of the best ever. I wanted to show you all this real quick before I start the game. There's basically 6 enemies that are flying down attacking you. The only 2 that shoot at you are the first 2 you see there, the deltoid blasters and the shield blasters. Thank goodness, because the game is very difficult. The sizzloids are the most important thing to probably remember though. Alright, let's play. Now, because of the refresh rate of my monitor, it's sometimes the lasers don't show up. It's just a beam though that each fires. Now the thing to remember is the enemies can only fire their laser at you once. After that they can't shoot at you anymore, so that's important. And the enemies come at you in waves. Now, of course, if your ship gets hit by a laser or one of the enemies crashes into you, you die. And once you run out of ships, the game is over. But also, there's another factor. There's the sizzloid. It makes that noise when it comes down. There's a heat factor. If too many enemies hit the planet, your planet overheats, and if it gets too hot, the game is over. But you can tell the heat by those bars you see going up and down the sides of the screen. They'll get brighter and move up. Now, the items that fall down, really, to be honest with you, the only ones you really have to worry about that cause the most damage as far as the heat factor go are the solar flares and the sizzloids. Those are the ones that add to the heat factor the most to your planet's surface. There's simply too many of them to hit all of them when they come down, especially once the game gets going. Okay, on this screen here, after you get to 500 points, if you can hit 5 of those ships before the timer up there runs out, you get a free life. It takes a little bit of practice. I wasn't able to do it this time. Now you see how crazy this starts to get. Now you see the green lines are going up higher. See, it's yellow. Like I said earlier, it's a good thing that only 2 of the enemies fire, because it's just so hard. I believe this was the only paddle game that Magic ever put out. Y'all correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. It takes some practice to do this. Of course, you can spin your laser around to the other side of the planet too. You see the heat factor. Now, it does slowly go back down. Also, the sizzloids, if you hit one, it will destroy everything else on the screen. See? So that's pretty cool. Sizzloids. Wonder if the staff at Magic were brainstorming at dinner when they came up with that one. Hey, see, I did it that time. You hear the beep, means you got the free life. And Lord knows you need all of them. The game's got the bright graphics like you would expect from a Magic game. Their games almost always seem like they were good on the eyes. You see, you have to start taking chances. That's it, I'm dead. That's it. Because the heat factor, the game is very, very hard. Just kidding. Got to go with Astro Blast on this one. Solar Storm might look a little better, but Astro Blast to me is the more fun and fair game. Solar Storm is one of those games, at least in my opinion, that teeters on not being fair. I mean, it's, I don't mind a game being challenging, but sometimes it gets to the point where it just seems, I feel like I could play that thing for a year and I still wouldn't get much more than I get now. That's kind of how I feel about it. So I'll take Astro Blast.